Hello 0 Hour fans and viewers and players. So this is a video on a USA price comparison for all different units. So there's 4 different generals, and generally there are 4 different sets of prices, and certain generals can't build certain units. So this is the table. So on the top we've got US Air Force, laser, super weapon, and the vanilla USA. Credit to this goes to a guy called Star Trekker on Game Replays. He made this table. I'm just using it to go over it and show people. So the first unit we've got is the Chinook. So they're all the same price, 1200, apart from the US Air Force, which is at 950. It also comes with the point defense laser as Air Force, so that's one of the reasons why USA Air Force is much more stronger than the other USAs, because if it loses a Chinook it only costs 950 to replace, and even though it's only 250 more, if you lose 2 Chinooks that quickly adds up, you having to replace them, and it can damage you a lot. So US Air Force got the only person that can build a combat Chinook, all the others are blanked out. Patriot all cost the same apart from Super Weapon General, where it costs 900 for the EMP one. Generally you never want to be building a Patriot unless you're Super Weapon or Laser. Sometimes laser, but it costs 5 power for laser to build it, so it's not always recommended. I prefer to go 5 bases. Rangers all cost the same, and missile defenders all cost the same. Colonel Burton all cost the same apart from Super Weapon General. I've actually learned something there. It's actually only 1200 for Super Weapon General. Super Weapon General is probably considered the weakest out of these 4 because of the more expensive Humvee that we'll come on to in a second. So that Colonel Burton does help it out a little bit. The Pathfinder Sniper is all the same price, 600. Crusaders, so only laser can build those, laser Crusaders, and vanilla USA can build the normal Crusaders. Super Weapon and Air Force, because they've got powers in other areas, they can't actually build the Crusader, or the Paladin for that matter. Humvee is the same for laser and USA, so those out of these 3, if you're doing a USA mirror, you want to either have laser or USA. If you're Super Weapon General, because of that expensive Humvee price there of 850, it takes longer to get your first Humvee out, and it takes longer to produce more and more Humvees over the course of the game. So that's why Super Weapon's really weak early on, and it's got no tanks either, so you're forced to make expensive Humvees. Air Force is slightly more expensive, only 100 more, but not as expensive as a Super Weapon General. The decreased price of the Chinook easily counteracts the price of the Humvee early on, so that's not too bad early on. Later on I suppose it adds up a little bit if you're wasting them. Paladin, so none of the generals can build them except the vanilla one, because they take so long to build and they're quite pricey at 1100. You generally never see them in 0 Hour. I think they used to be a lot more powerful in the earlier generals game, but generally in 0 Hour you never see them, so you don't really want to waste the general's point to buy that. Avenger, so they're all the same price. Can't remember what the star for. Oh, that star means you've got to get the strategy center, I think. Items with star are post-tech units. Yeah, so you got to build a strategy center. Laser, there's the only one that's cheaper, that's 1500. Another reason why laser is one of the better USA mirrors apart from air. So ambulances, so 700 for Air Force, 700 for Super Weapon, only 600 for laser, and 600 for vanilla. That can make a bit of a difference. Again, it's more expensive for the Super Weapon General, so another reason why it's weaker, another reason why it'll lose versus GLA nearly all the time. Sentry Drone, the price varies quite a bit there. You never see a Sentry Drone, don't bother making it, it's a wasted unit, wasted money, so don't bother building that. Build a Humvee instead, or a tank. Tomahawk, never really paid much attention to the price of the Tomahawk, to be honest. I'm learning something here too. It's 1300 for the Air Force, cheapest is vanilla, and slightly more expensive at 1400 for Super Weapon. Microwave tank, so it's 800 across the board. You never really see that, but it is actually quite a good unit for disabling defences like tunnels and stingers and stuff, and also clearing out buildings. It works like a flashbang where it clears out a building. Raptor, so you never really want to be building it unless you're Air Force, which it costs 1100, the rest are 1400, and they're much more weaker, and they don't have the point defense laser, so you really only want to be building that when you're Air Force, which is 1100. Comanches, no surprise again, it's cheaper for the Air Force General at 1200. The Air Force can also stealth them, so it's only ever really worth making it as Air Force. Sometimes I do make Comanches when I'm either laser or USA. If I've made loads of Humvees and my enemy is only making technicals, you can make loads of Comanches, but generally you only do it when you're air. Stealth fighter, quite an underused unit, actually pretty good at killing base defences and clearing out tunnels with the bunker buster. 1250 for Air Force, 1600 with a general's point for the other ones. Generally only want to be using that if you're Air Force, because you can have an airfield anyway. With the other USAs you probably won't have an airfield, maybe except super weapon, but in that case you want to be making Auroras instead. And Auroras are the same price across the board, apart from 500 more for the laser and the vanilla. You only want to be really making Auroras if you're super weapon general though, so it doesn't make much difference. So yeah, that's a price comparison for the USA units. I'll do these for all the three factions, the main factions, and I'll give you the link in the description as well, so you can view this image yourself. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope some people learned some things there. So yeah, good game.